most of the diseases of the mind
Mhm.
include things that cause us to disconnect. Anxiety is disconnecting from the present because we're thinking about the
Mm.
future. Depression, thinking about the past and missing the
Mm.
present. If at the heart of everything we don't want is
Mm.
disconnection, at the heart of what we do want is connection. And you, as an MBSR practitioner and teacher, know that one
Mm.
of the things that you're trying to constantly do is help people connect with their breathing, connect
Yeah.
with the present. I thought about connection and I realized there were other books out, connecting with your spouse, connecting with your children, connecting with
Mhm.
your client. But what about connecting with ourselves, others, the world, and something greater?
So
Something
these are the
greater.
4 domains.
These are the four domains that,
Yes.
so when you were talking about leveraging the four
Yeah.
uh, areas of connection, these are the four areas. And I really wanted to get into it hardcore and even define connection because there was no real adequate definition in the
Mm.
Webster's dictionary or even in the American Psychiatric Association's dictionary.
Mm.
So I really wanted to define it and look at places where people might be able to cultivate their own formulas for connection because everyone
Mm.
has slightly different formulas. We're all 8 billion of us inhabiting the earth
Yeah.
have as unique as snowflakes, our own ideas as they relate to connection. There's certain ways where you and I overlap, but there are places where you and I would probably be surprised and think, wow,
Mm.
and that's a way that you connect.
How can someone form connection if they're feeling disconnected, lonely, isolated, which many people struggle with, like feeling like they're alone?
Absolutely.
Mm.
It takes time to cultivate connection, but you actually hit on one of the ways, and that is curiosity. And one of the ways that we can cultivate connection is by showing true curiosity. There's an old story about a young woman who met two
Mm.
British politicians, one of whose name I forget, but apparently he was able to make himself look really smart.
Mhm.
And she was like, wow, he's smart. And she was also talking about Benjamin Disraeli, who she
Mhm.
said made her feel smart. And she said that was the better formula. If you're able to really
Oh.
sincerely, and I'm not talking about some type of saccharin, sugar substitute version of, insincerity. I'm talking about sincere curiosity. But one of the ways also out of loneliness and connection
Mm.
is, and probably the quickest, is through volunteerism. As
Mm.
an adult, it's a lot harder to knock on somebody's door and say, hey, do you want to play? But
Yeah.
if you join with other people, we were talking about, having a common enemy is one of the ways that two people can kind of come together. Social psychology experiments show this time and time again. You want to get two factions who don't like each other
Mm.
to come together. Well, find a common enemy. And the
Yeah.
common enemy could be, and I'm putting the word enemy, could be, the environmental situation that we all face. In
Mm.
theory, that should bring us together. But volunteerism, lest I digress, is a great way because the common enemy might be hunger and
Mm.
feeding the poor and helping people side by side. And one of the ways that we feel of use is through volunteerism. And
Mm.
feeling of use is a big deal.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, his autobiography, is called Be Useful.
I know, I love that.
I love
Yeah,
that
yeah.
title. And one of the things that the elderly experience sometimes when they're in care facilities is, sure, they're being
Mm.
cared for, but they also want to be of use. And they
Mm.
feel far less lonely when they feel that they are of some form of use. So
Mm.
volunteerism would be one of my go-to places. And as a byproduct, guess what? You might actually make a friend
Yeah.
while you're doing this thing. My
Mm.
son, he's 15 years old. He's
Mm.
volunteering at the VA hospital.
Mm.
And he said, Dad, I talked to a 102-year-old World War II vet,
Wow.
and I couldn't believe his story. He would not have met this man. And he said, and I had meaningful connections with no less than 4 people just yesterday. He's doing this through his school.
Yeah.
And so volunteerism would be one of my top places to go.
Mm.
Another place to go would be, of course, meetup groups.
Mhm.
I talk a lot about friendship and adulthood because oftentimes we've moved several times. I know you have, Kasim, moved
Yeah.
many times and probably had to leave some friends geographically, even though they never left your heart.
Right.
But not having them close by is a big deal, and having to restart and try to build new relationships. So one of the things I see in my office very
Mm.
frequently is I work with these very intelligent, attractive people who say they have no friends. And it's
So these are
generally,
successful people, they have their careers, but lack and they have maybe the shiny things,
They have the shiny things for
right?
sure.
But they're missing something with more deeper connection. So I guess we've overvalued in our culture, like achieving, getting certain status, getting certain wealth, quality of life. Let's gain a certain amount of money or fame. Somehow, I mean, I don't know. Maybe social media is contributing to this. Everyone wants to be famous, but how about this connection? I guess that's what, yeah.
Absolutely. Whether we're living or whether we're on our deathbeds,
Mm,
the thing that matters, it turns out the Beatles got it right, particularly when Paul was writing the songs, that love is the answer. I
yeah.
mean, our coffins do not have pockets, so we don't get to take anything with us. There's, as Mel Robbins reminds us, there's no moving van behind our hearse that allows all those things to come with us.
Yeah.
Nobody on their deathbed has ever said, "Hey, please bring all of my rewards, all of my awards
Yeah.
that I earned throughout my life. I want my statues." No one has ever said that. They say, "Bring the people who've mattered," and they've also experienced regret over leaving love on the table. That's a
Mm,
big regret of the dying, is
like holding
not
back
show.
love.
Yes, holding back love.
Hello there, and thank you so much for stopping by this channel. I hope you find this content useful, and if you do, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It will really help me to reach to more people and keep this content going. Here we are journeying together, and let's see where this takes us.